Welcome back to the Curvaceous Bounty of Sin City on VegasAllNetRadio.com, the final frontier of free speech where we can say and do talk about whatever the fuck we want.
We're gonna get off the death thing and the religion because that's not our style. But it was a good conversation.
It was.
Yeah.
You know who I want to talk about right now? I want to talk about Meghan Trainor.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so there is this new artist. I don't know where the fuck she came from because I haven't done the research yet. I don't know, who discovered her. I don't know who did anything to bring her to the. I fucking love this girl. I'm gonna break our rules and I'm going to post her. I'm gonna play her song. Now I posted her song on my page. What happened was I unplugged the sound, and I don't know how long
the boob unplugged.
Yeah,
the
my
sound.
boob unplugged the sound.
Blame it on the boob.
So Meghan Trainor is who we're talking about right now. MeghanTrainor. Meghan Trainor, and her song "All About That Bass." There are two lines in this song. This whole song is about self-love and body, not self-love like twiddle twiddle, but like liking your body. The very first line of the very first stanza is, "Yeah, it's pretty clear I ain't no size 2, but I can shake it like I'm supposed to do." And then a little bit later it says, yeah, my mama, she told me don't worry about your size. She says boys like a little more booty to hold at night. I fucking love this song.
Let me ask you a question. When you were you were thin growing up, weren't you?
No, not really.
Was your mom always trying to put you on a diet?
No.
See, my mom always.
My parents couldn't have shown any less regard for what the fuck was going on in my life. But you know what?
Here's the thing. My family was very supportive, and I remember my parents telling me you can do whatever you want to do and be whatever be. However, my mother was always kind of subconsciously putting me on a diet. Like, I don't know. It's really weird, but on the other hand, yeah.
No,
so I say my mother never told me that. Like, my mother came to my house, and I have fat girl art all over the place, and I had this little fat girl on the beach. It was a little statue. My mom like, that's gross. Well, and guess what? My mother's body looks like the lady on the statue. Okay, and so obviously I didn't get that from her, but I would never tell my daughter that. I tell her, you want to have some junk in the trunk, girl, you do it.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. My parents didn't give a fuck about how I looked. They didn't.
Sierra.
So mostly because my dad worked all day and my mom worked all night, so she slept all day. They didn't have the time to give a shit about how fat I was or how skinny I was. I never really hated my body ever. One time in high school, it was junior high. No, let me take that back. It was at the 6th grade center back when they had 6th grade centers here in Vegas.
Okay.
Because that's when we moved here. I went from a school in Oklahoma where if you didn't pass a music class, you weren't advancing to the next grade level, to a 6th grade center in the middle of the ghetto here, where if you could add 1 + 1, you'd make it into senior year. I
never heard of the 6th grade center. So
it happened for 2 years, and it was this.
It was prior to me moving here, probably. Yeah.
It was this attempt. It was in '89. It was this attempt to get uh, more integration in the schools. So they would bus the kids from like the
Like
west side.
the hood into the
No,
east side.
no, they would bus the kids from Summerlin into the hood. Like, but
Oh,
this was before Summerlin existed. So the west side, like
right.
Buffalo and
As far
Alta.
as it went then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they tried to get, the middle class kids and they bust them out to the fucking ghetto. That lasted until the riots in 1989, the riots of 89. And then they said, that's it. This is the last school year we're doing that because they had to shut down. There wasn't a single sixth grader going to school, and there was no place they could send them
Wow.
because there were no schools equipped to handle sixth grade because they were all going to sixth grade centers. It was ridiculous.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is
They
crazy.
shut down for a week during the riots, and
So back to the side story.
so back to the side story. I never thought of myself as fat or ugly. I knew I wasn't, pretty per se.
I bet she was cute as hell though.
I go back and look at pictures of myself, and I'm like, I'm pretty goddamn cute.
I bet you were, because I see your son, and I see
Yeah.
him and you, and yeah, I could see.
So one day I pissed off this one kid because I was just, I didn't care. I knew I wasn't wearing the popular clothes. I just moved here from Oklahoma. I still had New Kids on the Block t-shirts. Okay. Everyone here was way past New Kids on the Block at the point I moved here. So it was a huge culture shock. I had this
But you thought you were really cool going to
I
school and you knew
had
clips on the
this
butt.
terrible Texas accent that I worked really hard to get out of. That was the only thing I was self-conscious of, was how I spoke.
That's cute.
And so I worked really hard
At sixth grade.
in sixth grade to not
Not
speak
be-
like that. And it worked because my sophomore year of high school, I went back home for a week for 2 weddings and a funeral, literally 2 weddings and a funeral.
Wow.
And then I came back and I'm talking to my friends and they're all looking at me funny and they're like, "Why are you talking like that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, I'm talking like a Texan." Let's wrap this up, folks.
That, you know what, that's funny because my father was from Kentucky and he had been here since he was like in 5th, 6th grade and lost his accent. But every time he got around his home folk, that accent comes out.
Yes, it does. It's weird and unexplainable. So in the 6th grade, I was giving some guy some shit for being a total douchebag. I'm hanging out with the 2 nerdiest girls in school, and this guy's saying something, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, dude. I grew up with redneck biker hippies. Just saying. So
Fuck you.
fuck you, dude. And so this guy's like, shut up, you fat bitch. And I'm like, fat? Who the fuck are you calling fat? I was not fat.
No,
I was.
you went in the military. You couldn't have been that fat.
No, I was not that particularly fat in 6th grade. I was like, well, I was bigger than the other girls, but I wasn't what you would have called fat. Maybe chubby, but I wasn't fat. And I never thought of myself as being fat or a big girl or anything like that
Anything different than the other girls, right?
Yeah, and until after I had my son, and I was like, somebody was like, "Man, you're a big girl." And I'm like, "I'm not a big girl. What the hell you mean I'm a big girl?" I was wearing size 16 pants, like I'd gradually
that's the size
gone
of my
up
daughter.
and-
She wears a 16, so that kind of gives me a visual. You were a chublet.
Yeah, I
little
was a chublet.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, "Girl, you a BBW." And I'm like, "Ugh, what the fucking?" And that's where, I never thought of myself as big or fat or hated my body or the way I looked. I wish I had, darker hair. I did dye my hair black one year. My mom helped me. Like, that's how much my parents didn't give a fuck about how I looked. I'm like trying to rebel. I'm going to dye my hair black. And my mom's like, "Do you want jet black or black blue?" And I'm like, "No, please let me be different from you." And you're accepting. I couldn't rebel. It wasn't possible.
Well, because when your parents are acting like you, how do you rebel against that?
Yeah, when your dad's when the drug talk goes like this, listen, if you're gonna do drugs, do weed, and if you're gonna do weed, smoke mine, so I know you're not getting something laced with PCP. Oh, and by the way, do you have a friend who can hook me up? I'm a little low. I was my dad's drug dealer for many years.
Yeah. See, now my daughter and I that kind of relationship. I mean, at least she knows I smoke, and she's an adult now.
It made drugs so
But
uncool that
I
I literally
bet.
did not do drugs until after I got out of the Army.
Right.
I puffed on a cigarette once when I was in high school. I didn't start smoking until I got out of the Army. I didn't do any drugs until after I got out. I was a legal, law-abiding, registered
let
to
me tell
vote
you, people out
American
there,
citizen
this
before
girl
I did
is
it.
squeaky clean. I know, because I have tried to entice her ass. But she'll get her drink on as long as Cali guy's around to make sure she's all good. And that's when we get like fun. I mean, we have fun otherwise, but no,
Yeah.
you don't. You're not. It must be because you grow up in that environment that it just wasn't a cool. It was.
Well,
If your parents were doing it, it wasn't cool.
yeah, well, see, here's the thing. I went batshit insane from March of 1999, which is the month I was out processed out of the
Out of
army,
the army, okay.
um, until I got married in 2001,
So like you were batshit
2002.
crazy, like drugs,
I went from
sex.
having never smoked a cigarette, never touched an ounce of weed, to having had sex with 3 guys, to in 2 years I'd had sex with over 200 guys.
Oh fuck me.
I had done weed and uh, ecstasy, and I had been on week-long drinking benders where I was not sober for a full week.
Oh my God,
I got
Sierra.
tattoos pierced. I used to have my lip, no, my tongue, my eyebrow, and my belly button pierced. I got this tattoo. This tattoo is recent.
Out of
I went.
control.
There were so many bars that I could walk into, and bartenders gave me free drinks because they knew what my butthole looked like. Like
Oh
that was what I
God.
was like in my early 20s,
Oh
and
my
it didn't
God,
really
that's
stop after I
funny.
got married. It stopped.
How old were you when your little guy was born? Because you were
25.
divorced
Yeah.
when hubby was not baby daddy.
No, hubby was
Right,
not baby daddy. I
right.
was 25,
Okay,
turning
so
26.
yeah, I was
So,
28.
yeah, so the early part of my 20s was just being a complete, and I held down a full-time job and paid my fucking bills, people. Like,
While being drunk for a week.
no, I would show up to work. I'm totally
But you know what? When
shit-faced.
I was 25, I could do that.
Yeah, I
Now?
cannot now.
Fuck no. In
No.
fact, at the bash, I had to get drunk one night, stay sober the next. I had to like pace myself.
I tried to get drunk Friday night. I did not have anywhere else to be or anywhere else to go. As a
No
matter of fact,
equipment to clean up.
we didn't even have to drive home. We had a place to stay Friday night. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, I looked at Cali Guy and he looked at me and he said, I really don't want to stay here tonight. I'm like, me neither. And he's like, are you okay to drive? I said, I'm too tired to drive, but I'm okay to drive.
Yeah, and you guys are 10 minutes down the road.
Yeah,
Not
and we're
even.
10 minutes
Yeah.
down the road. So we just went home. And because I wasn't drunk and neither was he, and I tried, like, it's not like we didn't try. We tried. We just couldn't drink fast enough to get drunk.
Well, and you know what? Well, you know what I found that I have to do now is not drink as many drinks, just drink stronger drinks because I don't want to keep drinking. I feel all bloated from all the drinking. So I
Yeah.
usually get my drink and make it a double, and
I found the new perfect drink. Like, I know what I'm going to be drinking from now on when we have to go to bashes. So Cascade Ice makes this like fizzy water that's got flavorings in it, and they make one that's coconut flavored.
Ooh.
And then you take this coconut flavored fizzy like soda basically and coconut rum, and you mix them
Oh,
together.
that's like a pina colada kind of.
Well, except there's no pina in
Oh
the
yeah,
colada.
okay, you're
It's just
right.
colada.
Colada, yeah, it's like a tropical drink. It sounds
Right,
like.
and it's a little bit fizzy and it's not very heavy in all of the syrups and sauces and stuff, and so I can drink it. It doesn't burn my terribly scarred esophagus, and I could probably get really shit faced
See,
on
and my
those.
opinion is I like rum and Diet Coke. That's just what my thing is. I'll make it really strong, and I don't care if it burns a few two times because I just want to get drunk.
Mm,
When I say I'm getting drunk tonight, I don't care about sipping my drinks till I get there. Just get me drunk, and then I don't want to drink no more because my stomach gets bloated.
mm.
So that's kind of like my opinion on the thing.
Yeah, not that I'm squeaky or straight edge. I
No, no,
mean,
no, you're not. You're
I
not squeaky
just,
straight edge. It's maturity, darling, maturity.
I guess
I haven't got there yet.
it's boredom is what it is. It's like, ah, really? I like there are stories of me passing out in cement flower beds outside of strip clubs. There are stories of me dancing on tables and taking clothes off. There's an entire St. Patrick's Day that I don't remember.
Well,
That
St.
every
Patrick's Day.
single one of my friends says we picked you up at 8 o'clock. By noon you were dancing on tables. We brought you home at 7 o'clock at night, and we all had a blast. And it's like I don't even remember waking up for that day.
This is how bad it was. I stood up to my friend's wedding, okay, and I was married to Bugman at the time,
Hmm.
and I was the maid of honor at my friend's wedding. Well, we had started at 10 in the morning when we had the hairdresser at the house drinking
Mm-hmm.
mimosas all day. So by the time that, oh my, I was trash given the toast, talking about my purple dress, I looked like fucking Barney. I mean, I was trashed, okay. So by the time at the end of the night that I had to go, and Bugman had to collect me, my purse, my shoes, collect me to get me out. We went home, we're fucking, and this is how I ended up the night while he's still fucking me. I fucking don't remember him ever finishing or getting off. I was just drunk.
Yeah, I've had nights like that.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
had coyote uglies. I seriously have woke up in someone else's house, in bed
No.
with some dude. I'm
No.
completely naked. I know we've had sex. There's a used condom on my thigh, and I'm
On
like,
my thigh.
all right. So I get up and I tiptoe out and I try to find my clothes. My best friend's naked on the living room floor with like three dudes around
Oh
her.
my
It's
God.
like, Jess, get up. Get the fuck up. What? Where the hell are we? I have no fucking idea. Let's go. She ended up marrying one of those guys and having two kids with him. But
That's funny.
we had no idea. And I remember parking. This is the night that I have decided I would never drink and drive again. Because I remember we were going to some guy's apartment. I don't remember which guy I was supposed to be hooking up with, but I did hook up with the Coyote Ugly, so whatever. I know I parked my truck. I had a pickup truck, this long ass pickup truck, and I know I parked it between the lines. When we get upstairs, I don't remember anything after that. We come downstairs the next morning, and I am parked between the lines this way. I am completely perpendicular. I am between two
And if it
lines.
would have been today, that shit would have been Facebooked.
Thank God this happened in the early 2000s when no one
Oh,
had
but
cell
you're lucky
phones.
that you did not die.
Yes. Well, the bar was literally on the other side of the wall, so I just kind of creeped around a
Okay, it wasn't too
corner.
bad. Yeah.
But it was at that point the next morning when I was like, you know what? I don't care how far I have to drive when I'm drunk. I'm just not going to do it. If I can walk it, I'll walk it. If not, fuck it. I'm sleeping in my car because this shit, not safe. I could have killed myself in
Yeah.
30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty insane.
Yeah, I remember one of the drunkest I ever got. I was on foot. I was living in Denver. It was in my early 20s. You know, I took the bus every day, didn't have a car. And me and my girlfriend, it was snowing in Denver, okay?
Oh, go
Cold as
figure.
fuck in Denver. And we had bought a bottle, one of those flat bottles of peppermint schnapps, okay? And so we're walking to and finally we find this little tiny bar. It's dark, street lights, but who cared back then, okay?
Right.
And we're drinking
This was in
this.
like the 60s, just so you'll
No, no,
know.
it was not. It was the 80s. The 80s, okay?
Hmm.
20 years ahead. So in the 80s. And so maybe the 90s, no, 80s, I think, because my daughter was born in 1990. Okay, the 80s. And so we're drinking the schnapps, going to the bar. We find this little honky tonk bar, okay? Still drinking. This old man's buying us drinks. We start walking home. Her and I, the whole way home, all we're doing is puking up peppermint schnapps.
Hmm.
Do you know what it's like to puke peppermint schnapps?
No, but I know what it is like to puke up Goldschlager.
Oh, God, help me. I think that's the drunkest. I wanted to just lay down in the snow. I
Yeah,
can't, I can remember feeling if I just laid in the snow, I'll feel better.
because you're hot and
Yeah,
sweaty.
and you're, bleh. Oh, it was
Oh,
horrible. That was one of those nights I'm never fucking drinking again.
there was a New Year's Eve. There was a New Year's Eve. A bunch of us got together back when Budget Suites was an actual like motel, and you could rent one of these suites for a night and not have to pay for a week.
Oh, I got you. Like, okay.
So we rented this Budget Suites, and I walked in. I got off work. I was working at Carl's Jr. Oh, so I this is before I went into the army. This is my senior year of high school.
Ooh, you drunk high school student.
First and only time I ever got so drunk. So I walked in, and every surface that is concave is filled with ice and liquor. So the sink in the kitchen, because there's a kitchen in these little things, filled with ice and liquor. You open up the refrigerator, there's bowls and bowls of Jello that's Jello shots that we're
Right.
eating with spoons. There's the bathtub is full of ice and liquor bottles like somebody raided Lee's and brought back whatever they could
Lee's
find.
Liquor is our big liquor store out here.
Yes. And
Chain.
so it was full just of liquor. And I remember I was drinking Goldschlager, which is cinnamon schnapps with gold in it.
Yeah, it's a little gold flex.
And I drank a whole bottle by myself. And
Hell
I was
yeah.
trying to open the door. There's a bedroom, and I was trying to open the door, and I was doing these like pawing things at it, and I couldn't get it. I finally got a hold of the door and pulled it open and slammed my face with it.
Oh no.
I had a huge bruise down the front of my face. So we're out at midnight, we're cheering, and it's right next to the strip. This particular Budget Suites has been torn down now. There's an half-built, if you're driving on the Desert End arterial, there's that half-built parking structure. That's where that Budget Suites used to be.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So It's right by the strip, so we could see all the strip fireworks. And I kissed my boyfriend at the time, who was 35, and
Always the older men, aren't you,
always
girl?
yeah, except for the man I married, the man I had a child with. Every guy I've ever dated has been older than me. And I woke up the next morning, and I had to go to work at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning,
Oh no,
and
that's the
I was
worst.
still way too drunk to drive. And I called my dad because my dad has made me drive him home drunk. Dad, I have to be at work in an hour and I cannot drive. Can you please come get me?
Oh my
And
gosh.
he came, no questions asked, picked me up, took me to work, and I worked my shift fucking shit faced. But I do distinctly remember standing outside waiting for my dad to show up, shivering because it's January. It is actually cold here. And there's this huge puke spot on some dude's car,
Oh.
and it's glittery.
Oh no, no, on somebody's car,
And so I'm
Sierra.
standing there and I'm like, what the fuck? And so my girlfriend's boyfriend comes out to smoke a cigarette, and he's like, hey, that was you, man. You totally puked all over this guy's car. You need to get out of here before he wakes up. I resurfaced this dude's car. He's got gold fleck on his car now. Saying. I am going to give you guys a warning right now. We've been having rolling blackouts in Las Vegas all day, and
Because of the heat and the storms.
because of the heat and the storm. We're in a severe thunderstorm right now. I am watching thunder and lightning happening right outside. It is right over us. So if you lose our feed, just stay tuned. Hopefully it'll come back soon. Took like an hour for my power to come back earlier today.
First of all, the heat is incredible right now in Vegas.
Well, it's
And to
like
top it, yeah.
it's down in the 90s now because there's rain
Right,
and
right.
clouds.
But I mean, though, the wear and tear it's had on cars and batteries has just been unbelievable. And you guys, I don't know if you know it, but it's monsoon season in Vegas. People do not believe that Vegas actually has a monsoon season
We
where
do.
it rains and thunderstorms. And Vegas's grounds, like we don't have nice green grass, soft, where it like
We have
loves the
concrete.
rain. Okay, the dirt that we do have is so hard.
It's called caliche. It's
Right.
literally a natural form of
And
concrete.
it doesn't
Oh.
absorb anything. It is raining.
Can
It's
you hear it?
pouring. Yeah, I can hear it right out the window.
Ooh, lightning.
It's lightning. So when it rains here, and it does that the whole month of July always, we flood. I mean, like immediate the streets flood. And I don't mean just flood. I'm talking about up to the side doors of your cars.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what we're in the middle of, and it's thundering and lightning, which we love because we don't get to see it much here in Vegas. But when we leave here in 2 hours, ain't no telling what it's
it'll
going to
look
be like outside.
There's no telling what'll happen between now and the end of the show. The power could cut out here, and we'll be screwed. Well, not screwed. We could still broadcast the audio because we just recently upgraded all of our boards and studios to have uninterrupted power supplies. I, however, cannot plug my computer into it, so we won't be Ustreaming, but we would still be broadcasting audio and
So,
Recording audio.
If you lose us, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Rainstorm, thunderstorm. Let's talk about where our friends are. Toxie is doing the mama thing this weekend. Her
Yep.
daughter is the all-pro soccer girl that she is, and they're at a
Mhm.
big tournament. Glitz is still getting stuff together. She had a family tragedy, and she was way involved. She's like the second-hand man in command at the Well-Rounded, or pretty close to it. So she's taking a little break, but we hope she'll come back really soon with us. We're hoping for that. So are we taking a little break, Mamacita, or what's
Yeah,
our plan?
we can
Okay.
take a little
You
break.
are listening to the Curvaceous Bounty of Sin City. Again, what you want to talk about? It's open mic night. Let's go. We'll be right back.
Don't ever let them hold you down. There's nothing you can't do. So don't you ever forget the day you heard the song and you heard me say, big girls rock, 'cause you got it all, girl, and it's nothing they're not. Big girls rock, so hold your head up high and give them all that you got. Big girls rock, you're worth your weight in gold, girl, and baby, you're hot.
Well, butter my butt and call me a biscuit. I found the funniest thing that I have ever heard since finding out that Grandma found Grandpa in the barn with the goat. It's on VegasOnThatRadier.com. There's some nasty girls on Sin City Bounty. They talk about those things that I'm sure my cousins are doing to each other somewhere, like sex and toys and pornos and vaginas. Oh my. You gotta hear this. I mean, see this. You can get on that thing called a podcast and they'll show you their bras. What would Granny say to that? It's on Sunday night, 7 p.m. SinCityBounty.com.
Girlfriends, listen, 'cause I'm talking to you. Don't ever let them hold you down. There's nothing you can't do. So don't you ever forget.
Hi, this is Sam, the host of Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Join me each week as I present a rock and roll show all about pets, people, and pop culture. I promise you cool guests and great advice all in one rocking hour. It's Vegas, it's rock, it's dogs, it's Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Every Saturday morning at 10 here on VegasAllNetRadio.com.
Hello, Vegas. I am Roosevelt Montpremier, your life coach. Join me every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. We'll be talking about everything and anything to change your life. We'll have special guests covering a variety of topics and taking your phone calls. Should you need to change or achieve anything in your life, we would like to hear from you. So join us to help your life every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Look forward to talking to you.
Hi, this is Corey Taylor from Corey Taylor Talks, Las Vegas's only online teen talk show, live from Las Vegas. My show is every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be talking about all kinds of things, because on my show, it's all about you. I'll have special guests, contests, and giveaways too. So listen online to Corey Taylor Talks every Thursday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on VegasAllNetRadio.com. I can't wait to talk to you.
And live while we're young. Girlfriends, listen, 'cause I'm talking to you. Don't ever let them hold you down. There's nothing you can't do. So don't you
Welcome back to the
forget.
curvaceous bounty of Sin City, where the storm affects everything, including the fucking computer.
Are we having problems over there?
It's being a little bitch. That's all. It's old and cranky. I sometimes call it sweet cheeks.
I knew that was coming. You know what? I could have predicted there was a Sweet Cheeks jokes in there somewhere. Listen, I have been so fucking busy that I forgot. Now, Sweet Cheeks never forgets a fucking party. I forgot that. I don't know if I forgot or didn't even know that there was a Red Label dance last night.
Yeah, I didn't know until I got an email about it, like, don't forget tonight, Red Label, and I'm like, oh, well,
Well, I'll tell
I
you
got
what
no
happened to me.
babysitter.
I didn't have a car last night. My battery died, and I wasn't able to go get a new one until this morning. But Mr. Toxie sends me a message that says, "I'm flying solo. Get your butt up here to the Red Label."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "There's a Red Label tonight." I said, "No, bring the party to me. Get what are we calling her?
Fishnet.
Fishnet." I said, "Is Fishnet there? You and Fishnet come to my house because I can't go nowhere."
Hashtag fishnets.
Hashtag Fishnet. So anyway, I didn't even realize that there was a.
Let me see. Does anyone post any questions to us? I asked everyone, I told everyone it would be an open discussion night and asked everybody to ask us anything on Twitter or Facebook, and we would answer the question live on the air. We've had 2 likes on that post, but no questions.
No questions. I'm
That's just on
telling ya.
Facebook. I got to check Twitter.
Twitter.
Tweet, tweet,
Twitter.
tweet, tweet, tweet.
I like Twitter because they let me post tits and ass shots. Facebook won't let me do that. They want to take me down if I post tits and ass.
Yeah, they
You know.
do that.
I know, but what can I say? My cover photo on my Twitter page is my big titty. If you've seen the new Twitter thing I have up there.
That's fun.
I'm going to LA again next weekend.
Who retweeted us? 1 retweet.
One retweet.
Oh, Chris Iphil. I don't know who the hell that is.
What a fucking crazy bunch of monkeys we had in this. I shouldn't say monkeys, but characters we had. I meant monkeys like they were all over, bouncing all over, and
Don't forget that they're buy 2 get 1 free.
they're so funny.
Cooking with poo.
The guys that did the movie 30 Women and 30 Girls in 30 Days.
Right.
God, they were funny last week. We gotta have them in the show again. They were calling me, "Hey, Sweet Cheeks, when are we gonna party?"
So no questions from our loyal, quote unquote, listeners. Bastards.
That's because you know why? Because we just lay our life out there anyway. What are they going to ask about?
So I posted a picture. I sent a picture to Cali Guy earlier today. Let me see if I can get it up on the screen for you guys.
What does it say?
It says, "You are in my inappropriate thoughts." I sent that to him via
Oh, that's
text.
very cute.
That's very cute. He replied, this is his reply. He replied, "That's a logical inconsistency because all your inappropriate thoughts about me are pre-approved and therefore appropriate."
Leave it to Cali Guy to like analyze it.
I love
He's so
him.
funny. You know what though, Cali Guy, I love Cali Guy knows I love him. But I don't want him to write my Hallmark card, okay? Because it would sound like that, like his answer.
I love my cards from him
I
because they're always
know.
heartfelt and adorable and full of genuine nerdiness that is just amazing.
Well, you guys have your own language.
We do. We do. And this is no joke, we talk quantum physics after sex. Like, we had one of the most amazing pillow talk sessions I think I've ever had in my entire life was shortly after they finally had physical proof, not just mathematical proof, but physical proof that the Higgs boson existed. We talked about it for like 3 hours after an amazing
Higgs
sex
what?
session. Higgs boson. It's a particle. It's a subatomic quantum particle.
You and I would have great sex talk about that because this is how our sex talk would be. You'd be talking, I'd be.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
So-
but that's how it would be.
And we have these like long, involved philosophical discussions after sex. It's very stimulating. My
Okay.
nipples are getting hard thinking about it.
I'm
actually.
glad you know what? I'm glad it works for you. You know what? I just like to have a hot fudge sundae after sex. We were talking about
So-
about some of the new TV shows. Or you got something else going on over
Well,
there?
chat is all
A
Twitter about our nicknames for our friends, like #fishnet. And Rita San Diego says, "I wish my friends had a nickname for me."
All you have to do, Rita, is spend about 10 minutes with us, and we will have you a nickname.
Right.
We're good at
Inkspot
that.
says he wants a cute nickname too, but he's not local. And Rita San Diego said, "With my luck, my friends would choose something freaky or embarrassing." And we're waiting to hear what, because Inkspot Stories asked her like what.
What would be embarrassing?
Right.
The thing is what's crazy about us is when we ask local people to come on the show, and we try to get as many of our local community people to come in and talk, they always go, "Well, what's my radio name going to be?
What's my radio
What's
name
my
gonna be?"
radio name?"
We here's how we name people. I name people the same way I name my pets. And I did not name my current pet, so that's why he defies the laws of pet naming. I don't name a pet when I get it right away.
What do you wait? Like
I
get the
wait to
feel of
see,
it?
yeah, what this pet is like, because I don't want to name my dog Fluffy and it turns into a mean, evil, nasty, child biter.
See, I think that would be funny. Fluffy was evil.
Right. Fluffy was a three-headed dog from Harry Potter. Fluffy was a Cerberus. So like #fishnet, she got her name because when she sat down with us, we started talking to her. She was covered in fishnet, and so we just started calling her #fishnet. It comes from your personality that you bring to us.
Like Toxie's name is so perfect for her.
Right, because she is
Intoxicated at every party. I bet she
Always.
really missed not being there last night.
Probably.
But she might still, she had a hard week at
You know what?
well-rounded.
From what I understand, those soccer parents get drunk. They turned it
But
up.
she said she's not going to get drunk in front of the soccer parents because she asked the soccer coach something inappropriate once or something.
Well, I'm sure she says it all the time. I'm
Well,
not
she's
going to get
probably
that drunk ever
Wait
again.
a minute. She's probably tried to make out with the soccer coach. What are we talking about?
That would be why her daughter gets. No, never mind. No, that's not right. Her daughter's an amazing soccer player.
She is. Very talented. So are you watching some of the new every time I watch a sci-fi show, I'm like, I know Sierra's watching this one. So I'm going to throw a few down at you. The Strain. Are you watching The Strain? Oh, yes. What
I am
is that
watching The
little
Strain.
thing? Oh,
It's a parasite.
I know.
parasitic
it's so
worm.
great.
So I'm watching The Strain, not because it's about vampires, although I love it's about the kind of
Is
vampires.
it about vampires?
It
When
is about
See, I don't
vampires.
know that yet.
It is.
You
It's
must.
vampires.
How do you know that?
because I researched the show before it came on.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
about
I can count on you to doing
vampires.
that for me, so I don't have
It's
to.
about vampires, and it's including a lot of the old vampire traditions, like they have to be in the soil from their homeland.
Okay.
They have to be across the river before dawn.
So the
they have
parasite,
to.
the little one that's eating all the blood, like how is that part of the vampire?
This is a whole new thing.
Okay.
This is the new
This ain't no
twist
True
they've added
Blood,
to it.
right?
No, this is not the happy-go-lucky sparkle in the sun fucking vampire shit. This is the vampire's evil, and all they're trying to do is fucking eat you. This is real,
Okay.
like, awesome fucking vampires. And the reason I'm watching it is not because it's about vampires, but because it's being directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Uh-huh.
He is my favorite horror.
Really?
Or-
What are some of the other things he's done?
He's done The Orphanage.
Okay.
Which is about a family that buys an orphanage and it's haunted, and this boy goes missing and everybody, it's really crazy. Pan's Labyrinth, which is a foreign film. Both of them are actually foreign films, filmed entirely in Castilian Spanish, which is the Spanish they speak in Spain and not the gutter trash that they speak south of the border. Real Spanish, not that gutter trash.
Right.
And so you have to be able to read to watch the movies because they're not dubbed, and I love them. And he's done a couple of other things that I love everything
Well,
he's
this
done.
show, it's only had it on 2 episodes. There's another one tonight, but it makes me sit at the edge of my seat, like,
And
it's so good.
Okay, so it's on FX,
Mhm.
and this year FX, after American Horror Story, and a couple of the things that they've done in Justified, they have thrown caution to the fucking wind, and they've just said, you know what? Let's see what we can do before the FCC starts fining us.
Yeah, it's great.
They are bashing heads in till
Oh
they
my
are
God,
flat,
wait a minute.
pulpy.
Yeah, I couldn't
disgusting
understand.
blood
So this
spray.
vampire monster thing sucks the blood through the and then he was dead, but he had to smash his fucking face all over. Oh my God! And they showed the fucking face on the ground. Oh, man.
Yeah, which you don't usually see in
No, not on
rated
TV.
R movies, let alone on regular cable. FX is a
It was
regular
really
cable show.
overkill by the vampire guy. I didn't know they were. I knew
But
they were
I
bloodsuckers,
loved it.
but I didn't know. Now, are you watching The Lottery?
No.
Now, you might want to go back and watch this one because this has to do with, there was a period of time for 5 or 6 years when women couldn't, the birth rate was going down, 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 down. And the last year, there were only 6 babies born, and those babies are now 6 years old. So in 6 years, there's been no new births, okay? They don't know it's environmental. They're trying to research it. Well, this doctor researches it, and she ends up with 58 viable embryos, okay, which the government now wants to give to a lottery to people to to get the embryos. But the side story is what's fun, because this doctor, she's got access to all the people who have high sperm counts and high fertility stuff. So she looks and she sees, okay, there's this guy Brian, let me go to this, he works at this bar. So this doctor that came up with these embryos that are live, she's going to try to get her pregnant because she's like, oh, you're Somalian, and Somalia, people from Somalia have a higher fertility rate. And he's like, how do you know that? And she had just fucked him, and he wasn't like the most smart guy in the shed, you know what I mean? But she knew that maybe, so she's out fucking every night trying to get pregnant. In the meantime, there's a father of one of the last 6 born. And you see him knocking on a door, and this woman answers this lingerie, and he goes, Dr. So-and-so sent me. So he's there to service to try to make another baby.
Right.
So, it's all this science stuff that you would like, and then all this sex stuff like I would like. But it's a good
Yeah.
show, The Lottery.
Yeah, it might be interesting.
It
We'll
is.
see.
I think we'll see. It's only had 2 episodes.
So are you watching Extant?
I am watching Exit. First of all, I'm shocked Halle Berry's doing TV.
Don't be shocked, because a lot of major movie stars are coming back to
There was
TV.
another one. You know who Tia Leone is going to
Tia
be Secretary of State. She doesn't do
Right.
TV either. Yeah.
Because the movie business isn't making any more money anymore, because your movie comes
Netflix
out,
and-
people may still go see it in the theater. If you're a science fiction movie, you're going to come out in the theaters and break the fucking banks, period, especially
Right.
if you come from
and
a long
superhero
run.
movies.
And
Superheroes.
superhero movies.
Uh-huh.
rom-coms and stupid adult humor and stuff like that not making any more money because it comes out, it's on DVD within 3 months after its release in film, and it's on Netflix for 99 cents after that.
Right.
So there's no point, really.
But she's excellent in it. I mean, very, and
but
give
Halle
people the
Berry's
precedent
amazing.
if they haven't watched it. We're
So-
only in 2 episodes on this, so you can catch up, guys.
Right. So the premise of this show is that Halle Berry is an astronaut, and she, the NASA, their version of NASA, has been taken over by the private sector because the government doesn't want to do it anymore.
Which is what's going
Ding
on.
ding, that's what's happening
That's
now.
what's happening here, people.
But this is in the far, far future when our cars are semi-automatic, which means they almost drive themselves, which is awesome.
Oh, and their son is a android.
Their son, no, he's not an android. He's a humantrix. Humanics.
He's very human, but he's not.
Humanics. He's a robot with, by the way, with some severe psychological issues, I believe.
Yes, I think you're right.
I think he's killing children. I think he's killing animals. But
Right.
anyway, so she goes away on this 13-month solo space station mission.
The computer is all she has to talk to.
It's her, the computer, Skype with her husband, once a week, and the plants that she's growing. Something happens. There's some power outage. She sees someone from her past on the ship.
She sees
She
her
hallucinates.
ex-boyfriend who died.
Who died. She hallucinates. She comes to. 3 months later, she comes, or no. Yeah, it's 3 months because it's 14 weeks. She's
Right.
14 weeks
Right,
pregnant.
14 weeks pregnant.
3 months later, she comes back to Earth, and they do all of her blood tests and workups to make sure everything's okay. She's 14 weeks pregnant. 14 weeks ago, she was alone on the space station. And everyone around her, except the doctor who's her best friend and her husband, knows what's going on. Like
Cameron
everyone,
Manheim is the. Oh yeah.
like the director of this institute knows what's happening.
It's like they expected her to come back pregnant.
Right. It's almost, yeah. It's like they expected her to come back pregnant. They're talking about, they're talking about, oh, are they here? Did we finally find them? I didn't think we find them. I think they're here now. And eventually this is going to come down to aliens, and the robot boy is going to either save us or kill us. I'm not sure.
But it's
So-
very good.
Oh,
lot
it's
of,
really,
lot
really
of, even
good.
on like the mainstream. Usually you get real sci-fi things on Sci-Fi or FX, but they seem to be mainstreaming a lot of this stuff onto
That's
regular
because
TV shows.
nerds rule the world.
And I'm going to tell you another one that you don't know what's going on is The Leftovers. Now I know you haven't caught up. You're
I'm
waiting
saving,
for Cali Guy,
right.
and I don't want to give too much away, but it's another one that you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
So the premise, as I understand it, on The Leftovers is that the rapture happened. Only it
But
wasn't.
it's not the rapture.
But there's a lot of people saying it was the rapture. A lot of people saying it's not the rapture. 3% of the human population just poof,
Gone.
just the fuck appears. And it's random. It's not like it's really devout people or really atheist people or bad people or good people or
Right.
adults or children. It's everybody.
Because there's a preacher on the show, and this is not giving much away, that he tries to go through and tell people it's not the rapture. Look at this person sold drugs, not the rapture. This person,
Right.
like telling everybody about their sins.
Right, it's not the rapture. There's, of course, some crazy cult that has developed because of this.
And the crazy
because-
cult doesn't speak, and they chain smoke, and they wear white.
Weird.
Yes.
And so the whole show takes place like 3 years after this rapture thing happens, and everyone's trying to figure out what happened. It's kind of like The Moment or whatever that show was, where everybody on Earth passed out for 30 seconds except for 2 people.
Oh yeah, what was that? That was a great show.
I don't
what
remember
happened to that, but I remember. Yeah,
It wasn't all that great. That's why it was canceled in its
I
first
know.
season.
I love some of those crazy ass shows though.
Some of these shows go well. Shows like Lost, where what the fuck is happening, and you never really learn what the fuck is happening.
I am so trying to wait, and you're going to be the same way. Why is this cult? Why are they like? You know what I mean? And so that's another.
Why
one
did
that's
all
got
those
me
people drink
intrigued.
the fucking Kool-Aid and knew that they were
It
going to die and end up in
died.
Haley Bop? Like,
Yes.
come on.
Oh my God, you're so.
Why did all those
right.
women follow David Kevorkian into the compound and say, yes, please let me have 14 of your babies so you can shoot us all and set us on fire? Like,
right.
whatever.
And another one that I like that you think is quirky, and it is quirky, but I still like it, is the Almighty Mighty Johnsons. They're all gods.
I've watched the first one. I was hoping it wasn't going to be quite as hokey as it is, but it
In
is.
fact, it's so hokey. I would think it should be on the CW.
Yeah, it's hokey enough to be on the CW, but it's on Sci-Fi, so it that kind of lets
I
it
really
be
kind of like
hokey.
it because I wish there was some. It was so funny. I'm gonna give you a little hint on what happened in the second episode. The first episode you might realize this one young brother is a god. He's Odin.
And well, he might be Odin. There's
You're right.
still no
Well,
for
supposedly he
surety.
goes to the library, and this librarian and him kind of like flirt, and she says she's, I think, Fae, which supposedly Fae and Odin are supposed to connect. Okay, so she invites him to this party. So they're like, oh, and there's going to be other gods, and they're like, oh my god, we're going to meet other gods. Well, it's like this online club of these people playing the gods,
Oh,
So it was
okay.
pretty funny. Yeah.
Oh, it's LARPers. I love LARPers. That's
So
live action role play for those of you who don't obla.
yeah, they were. They had their
LARPing.
swords and they were gods but I think that's a good. There's a lot of good stuff coming up in the fall though. A lot of really
Yeah,
good
well,
stuff.
Justified is coming back. That's a nipple
Yes.
twister right there.
Yeah, I am watching the last season of True Blood.
I haven't watched any seasons of True Blood. I have tried.
You know what they're doing
I
on True
just
Blood, and a
can't.
lot of you is like every week a semi-major character is getting killed,
Oh,
and
they're trying to
both
pull a Game of Thrones
Well,
slash.
well, and then the two major characters, not Sookie, but the two major vampires, Bill and Eric, both have hepatitis from tainted True Blood. So the two main characters are looking like they're going to die also.
Thank God.
So no, I love me some Lafayette though. That's the gay guy on there. He can go.
I tried watching a couple of episodes and I just couldn't get into it. I tried reading the books because I couldn't get into the episodes and I was like, okay, they're probably butchering the stories. So I'll read the books
Mhm.
and I'll love them and maybe I'll be able to watch out of disdain. But I tried reading the books. Here's the thing, the Sookie Stackhouse novels, written by Charlene blah blah blah, whatever the fuck her name is. They're terribly written. They are written by someone who is mostly literate but not fully literate for people who are also mostly literate but not fully literate. I read final editions where there were serious grammatic errors. And not just, in the way they're trying to portray the speech of a character. You're allowed grammatic errors there, especially when you're talking about someone from Louisiana who's speaking with a southern accent. You're allowed grammatic errors there. When you're describing the scenery of the room, there should be no grammatic errors.
Right, exactly.
When there are so many grammatic errors that I would have thought a teenager wrote this, and actually Christopher Paolini, who was a teenager when he wrote when he started the Aragon novels, had better grammar, either better grammar or a better editor. I could not get through them. There was no character development in the first novel. It was just, oh, suddenly there's this wafy little blonde-haired girl and there's this really good-looking dude who only comes out at night and she can read everybody's minds but his, and all this stuff is happening. There's no, it just boom, here's this character, this what she's like. Here's this character, this
Well,
is
maybe
what
the
he's
TV
like.
show gave you the background a little better, and it's very.
I'm
True
sure
Blood is
eventually
very
it would
hokey.
have,
It's
but
very hokey, and it's got some really strange comedy in it.
it's
but
the
I
exact
like it.
reason why I couldn't get into Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I
gotcha.
couldn't get into any of those
But
others.
you can get into the strain.
I can get into me some Strain. That's right. You give me some Stargate SG-1, where if Daniel Jackson doesn't die a season, it hasn't been a complete season. I can get into the really science fiction-y stuff, and I love reading paranormal fantasy adventure novels, but they've got to be written for adults. And if they're written for teenagers, they should at least have proper grammar in them.
Right.
Right. Just my thing. That's why I won't read 50 Shades of Grey. Like, even though it's supposed to be
Isn't there supposed to be a show coming out on one of the cable channels, 50 Shades of Grey?
a movie.
Is
And
it a movie?
I'm not looking forward to it. Yeah, it's going to be a movie. Everyone was like, oh, you're into that kinky shit. You should read this novel. It's great. It's like lady porn. And I'm like, oh, maybe I will read it. And then one of my friends, who is just as literary a snob as I am, came to me and said, don't fucking read it.
What did she say the problem
You will
was?
hate it. I said, why? It's about, kinky
Sex,
it's about
yeah.
kinky sex. And
How
she's
could
like,
you not like it?
she's like, it's written by an illiterate teenager. And it is not written well, and it wasn't edited well, and there's misspellings in the final prints, and there's huge grammar errors in the final prints. Don't read it. You'll hate it. So I haven't read it because someone who's just as literary a snob as I am was like, don't read it. And I take their word for it.
Right.
I might read it eventually just to say that I've done it, just like I read there is some Don Juan Quixote book about some guy on a porch on peyote somewhere in Mexico. Terrible book, but I read it because I had to, because somebody said, if you're going to be a real spiritualist, you should read this book. And I did, and it was terrible.
I know you don't watch any of the series on Showtime, but there are two really good ones.
I
Ray
don't-
Donovan.
I don't
is
have Showtime.
excellent.
I want to watch Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan
I love that actor.
I mean, he is so good on this show.
He's
They're
so
in season 2,
intense.
so if you want to come over and watch them, season 1 and on
Give
demand.
me your Cox login. I can
I
watch
could
them
do
online.
that, huh? Okay, I don't know
Yeah.
how to do that, but help me figure it out and I'll give it to you.
Okay.
And Masters of Sex, which is they're in season 2. This is the story of, Masters and Johnsons were the Master and Johnson were the sex gurus. They are the ones that learned about orgasm. So this first season was how they developed this study and studied women's orgasm, and they're into season 2, which the two of them get into a relationship. And so that's another one I'm going to suggest to you. Masters of Sex and Ray Donovan is a hot series.
Oh, I love that
Yeah.
actor. So Cali Guy clued in and he said, your answer to why all of those people are doing crazy things was the first part of tonight's show, faith. If faith rules your life, you're left without proper tools to decide what is true or not, or crazy or not.
Well, and I think there could be a happy mix between faith and reality.
There
I
can be
have a healthy mix of that in my life.
There can be an
You know,
absolute.
I absolutely believe in what you believe as far as power and energy, but I also, within me, because of how I grew up, have to know that there's a God, and you know what I mean? It gives me peace to pray. That's what I should say.
Yeah,
Gives me peace to pray.
I think everyone should have a way to release their spiritual
Exactly.
pent up energy. So
Whatever that
let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about some more shows that we're watching, because that's what we like to do.
That's what we do
That
sometimes.
is what we do sometimes.
Okay, we will be right back with the Curvaceous Bounty of Sin City on VegasAllNetRadio.com.
Don't ever let them hold you down. There's nothing you can't do. So don't you ever forget the day you heard the song and you heard me say, big girls rock, 'cause you got it all, girl, and it's nothing they're not. Big girls rock, so hold your head up high and give them all that you got. Big girls rock, you're worth your weight in gold, girl, and baby, you're hot.
This is Sierra of the Curvaceous Bounty of Sin City on VegasAllNetRadio.com. And I would like to take a moment to talk about something serious. I'd like to talk about balls. Every Sunday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., you can listen to me and my co-hosts talk about balls. You can listen to us on VegasAllNetRadio.com, or you can watch us at SinCityBounty.com. We'll talk about balls every Sunday from 7 to 10 p.m. And don't forget, balls.
Hi, this is Joseph Peroni, author of the book From Grief to Relief. Listen to my show every Thursday at 2 p.m. on VegasAllNetRadio.com. This show is dedicated to those who have loved and lost and have found or are searching for the person